Yo, as promised, we back at it again. We both like to do our own set of introductions, so I'm gonna let my son kick his off.
Hey, it's your boy Yafe Ray coming back with the Black Panther review. Let's get it.
Yeah, episode 2 right here. Oh, I want to display this guy's talent right here. He did this, you know what I'm saying? Gotta give props to Julian. So we would love your support. The boy's a gifted artist. But in lieu of what we about to get into today, hold on. Y'all gonna think I'm Diana Ross out here.
Wakanda forever.
I am the boss. All right, let's get into this Black Panther. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right, so did you want to lead off? Yeah, matter of fact, I want you to lead off. The children of the future.
All right, cool, son. Let's jump in straight with the cast. What did you think of the cast? Like Chadwick Boseman and his performance as T'Challa, the Black Panther himself, the king of Wakanda. Is that my king? That is my king. Wakanda forever.
I am loyal to the throne. All right? Hey, man, that movie was fat. The people were beautiful.
My God.
Beautiful. So I'm happy about that. Wakanda forever. Beautiful.
Man,
beautiful.
Shout out to my WCE, Lupita Nyong'o. Her performance in the Kia was amazing. Just wow. Oh,
everybody had beautiful tans in that. It was amazing. So I wish I could get a tan like that.
Where so much melanin, I was just overwhelmed.
It was like water melanin. No coons here though, no coons here. Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? This ain't Uganda. All right.
Man, oh my gosh. What about Daniel Kaluuya?
I think he sold out. You know what I'm saying? It's funny on Facebook they were saying he went from Get Out to Sell Out. You know what I'm saying? But I could feel his pain, son. Like if my parents got killed, I would have a personal vendetta. And sometimes when you have a person in office leading a nation, they can't deliver, and the people sometimes are let down and disappointed in leadership, and so they will seek other options or try to become the leaders themselves. That happens all the time in politics.
I get that. People want results, and I feel like that that worked for his character arc, but him directly opposing his wife was a bit of a no-no. Wow.
So how they say. I just want to say that I'm loyal to the throne once again, because if I had a king like T'Challa, oh my goodness, I would be like his man at arms, his Secretary of Defense. You know what I'm saying? I will hold him down like the Dora Milaje. But I think we should go into how it started, the beginning, and discuss the opening scenes. Okay, what did you feel about the opening scene?
I thought it was really cool. It was interesting. At first, I didn't really know what was going on, but as the story continued, it made a lot more sense, and I feel like that's a great way to start off a movie. I liked the action scene with I never freeze.
Oh my God, that's my favorite.
Oh my God.
What are you talking about? I never freeze. Yes, that was hot. That was hot. I quote that all the time. Oh my God. So the way it jumped off, the way I saw it, I love the father and son conversation when he was giving him the history and the backdrop of Wakanda and vibranium. That was sweet. You know what I'm saying? That father and son thing, is a beautiful technique. I vouch for it. I co-sign for it. It's very important. Be a father to your child. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, maybe you want to comment on that. I don't know, man.
Man, you said it all.
Okay. Let's see. And then when they go into where there was a knock on the door, and he's like, "Yo, there's these two Grace Jones looking chicks with spears." Yo, that was hard by son. Just the way it was set up and the way those women commanded respect, and then the king appears after they bang the spears and shows up out of the blue like blah, you know what I'm saying? And then it's they're bowing down. Oh my God, that was royal, son. Wakanda forever. I am
I'm like,
to the throne.
I am overwhelmed right now. It was such an amazing movie. Like, wow, we're like just barely scratching the surface, and it's just like,
yeah, you could never ever cover everything that movie explored or highlighted. You just can't do it.
Just, you know what I mean? Just goals. You know what I mean? Like I'm just.
I've been waiting for the Black Panther to be in the movies from the first Avenger, movie. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it took its time and it built up and whatever. You know, better late than never. You know how it is.
Yep.
And I heard that it sunk. The Black Panther sunk its claws into the Titanic and sunk it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why the Titanic sunk. If you didn't know.
It's like number.
That's
right
why.
Now.
Process that.
This time. Oh my gosh.
Man.
I started 3 days early, man.
Yeah. Talk about that, because I was jealous, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So a boy of mine, I went to school with him, and he told me that he got invited to an early screening, and he had like a +1, and like he blessed me with that +1 ticket, and it was just like time. Like I was so here for it. I was ready. I was with all the antics, and it was just so amazing. I felt bad though because I couldn't really discuss it. I mean,
no spoilers.
Right? Yeah, I hate being that guy.
We got spoilers here though. If you ain't seen it now, you deserve to have a spoiler alert.
Like the Blu-ray's coming out next month. Like, what are you doing? Like,
what are you doing? Like, go play in traffic if you haven't seen it.
Go play in traffic. Wow.
Shoot yourself. I don't know.
It's time. Wow. I want to get into him becoming the king.
Okay.
Like that.
Break that down.
That part was really dope. Like how the power of the Black Panther will now be stripped away. Like, wow.
The Black Panther.
Oh, you got it.
Black Panther.
I'm still working on it, guys.
Oh my God. Yo, that was hot. But even before that, like the scenes in between, let me see what happened. So, basically when he froze, like you can't leave out that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, like the fight scene where he took out those soldiers and then he froze, like that was that was hot. And how old girl had his back from the leader of the Dora Milaje, like how she jumped out and was like, "You froze." Like that was hot. Come on, you can't leave that out. But that stage, you know, the crowning and the coronation ceremony, which is beautifully, like just the aesthetics. It was pleasing to the eye, and to see the culture just alive and vibrant. Oh my God,
that was really dope. Oh my God,
I was happy to be Wakanda, bro.
Yeah, when Shuri did her little thing.
Yeah, Shuri.
I was like, wow, no way.
Yeah. Oh, something else I want to discuss real quick. Like, what was the brother doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? It seems like he was planning some kind of, robbery. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how do you go from royalty, right? Come to America, set up shop. I mean, you remember when the king showed up and there was the beef and all that transpired. Like, how do you come from Africa and be like a royal lineage? And I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion what was happening, so this could just be my interpretation. It looked like, you know, the brother was dealing in some illegal business. Maybe not, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be one of those people that are, what do you call, profiling.
I definitely feel like it was a huge transgression to be, I guess, dealing vibranium outside of Wakanda. Like that's like a big no-no, but I feel like his heart was kind of in the right place, but you know, the way he went about it was really wrong. And you know, that really set the stage for the conflict of the rest of the movie.
Okay. So now we covered like a lot of the beginning, from, you know, the first scenes to him freezing to the coronation.
Let's get to the fights.
Okay, let's get to the fights.
And M'Baku, the leader of the Jabari tribe.
You are a boy who could not keep his own father safe. Mm. Yo, love it,
His
love
character
it, love
was
it.
dope. Oh
Yo,
my
some people
god.
was feeling like there was a lot more violence in this movie than there are in most of the superhero films. What's your take on that? What do you think?
I don't know. Like a lot of the parts that stuck out to me wasn't necessarily action, but like how the characters interact and like how they went through the stories. Like all the character arcs like really stuck with me. Whereas like the action was like nice and like cool spectacle and it was in the theaters. Not to say it was bad,
Okay.
but it was like I was more like I was way too invested in the characters themselves.
All right. So I know I'm gonna get hated for this, but I'd rather be hated for who I am than to be loved for who I'm not. So I'm just gonna say this. Sometimes violence is necessary. Like I'm not opposed to violence. I'm not Martin Luther King. I love him though, but I'm not him. You slap me in my face, it's curtains.
Don't need to go there.
It's wrap, what I'm saying? I ain't even gonna discuss what happened, but yeah, just don't do it. Yeah, I truly believe that sometimes violence is necessary. And, watching the film, I was so caught up in all the action and all the positive parts that, I didn't take the time to reflect on, was this more violent than any other film? You know what I mean? It was so much beauty in it. And I just want to say that if there was more violence, it would be a shame that they injected that in there to kind of mind control black people to, perpetuate black on black crime. If that was the case, then it's all bad, you know what I mean? However, I think that the action scenes were hot, and I think that it built the backdrop of Wakanda being a warrior-like nation. It's kind of like Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? That's where the warriors come from, Medina, where the warriors were. So, I'm okay with warriors being trained and being able to defend themselves and their country and their communities. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Black Panther is all about. That's what the Black Panthers were all about. But we're not going. They need their own movies. They need their own movies. Yeah. All right. Yeah, all right. The real ones.
We gotta get to
shout out to Huey P and Bobby Seale.
Nice.
All right. Go ahead.
We gotta get to the gorilla in the room. We gotta talk about Mr. Eric Killmonger.
Oh my God! Like I like the scene in the
museum.
What was that? Was that the museum, the British Museum, and how it was staged in the juxtaposition of how cool he was and how much swag he had, and then they showed the stuffy lady that he was talking to.
Yeah, that was.
And
dope.
He probably had way more knowledge than she did about the artifacts, which was I like that. I like how they played that scene. And then they totally. Pimp that situation, man. They fooled everybody. That was a sweet heist. Love how it was done. Love how they, the people in the museum were outwitted. Very, very classy, sexy scene in my eyes.
I really like. Before I really dive deep into Killmonger, I want to talk about Claw because he was kind of set up as the main antagonist for the movie, and Killmonger was kind of I don't want to say a sidekick, but he was more for the second act, and I really like how they managed to finesse that because there was so much significance placed upon Claw, and I thought that was dope. And then when Killmonger came to steal the show, it was just miss me with that book. Let me stop.
Yeah. Say what you want to say, man. You're 21 now. It's all right. You can curse in front of me. It's all right.
It's okay.
What did I want to say? So I found it interesting how a lot of people thought that Killmonger was a real hero in this movie. Love his character. I think he's one of the best villains, hands down, of all time. I give him that, and I think that he was very complex, and he has some, salient points or some valid points. Respect him to the fullest for that, but I'm not feeling his treatment of women.
Yeah, I really wasn't.
I thought that was a little on the savage. Matter of fact, a lot on the savage side. I don't think he had respect for the elders, and I don't think that he really respected the customs and the traditions and the rituals of Wakanda. And he wanted to burn the heart-shaped herbs to make sure that there was no king after him. Not feeling him as the hero, but a lot of people were just because he had some good points. And I hope that people are really more critical because sometimes you see like a villain appear and they have some good qualities and it's just like, oh, let's vote for him for president, and then you see what happens. Boy. You see what happens in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? You got to say more.
Say less. You know, but I feel like that did push, like, you know, him being a villain, and I like that because when you're like, you know, antagonist to like, you know, T'Challa, the Black Panther himself, it's like he was, you know, he had this really, like, T'Challa, he had this incredibly, like, regal vibe to him. You know, he was just about to become king. He did become king, and I like that. And for, you know, his antagonist to juxtapose that, be like his complete opposite, his cousin, his, you know, have that connection. Like the fact that he was
hey auntie,
yo, that was really dope. I liked how his views challenged T'Challa's, and like it even pushed him to become a better character in the end. And I thought that was really dope. Like,
was it Killmonger's character that pushed him, or was it Nakia's?
A little bit of both. More so, I would say more so Killmonger, because he like really shoved it in his face, like everything that was going on, everything he wanted to do, and then him learning like everything that happened with his father, like that kind of like really shook up his entire world, and he took it upon himself to start doing things differently, and I feel like that's what makes him such a really good villain, because if you, I like looking at a lot of the other Marvel movies, a lot of the villains are forgettable, sadly. But
well, I want to say I think that Nakia was the most consistent, and she was pointing T'Challa in the right direction from the very jump. But when T'Challa was introduced to his cousin and found out his cousin's history, it made Nakia's philosophical points of view more hands-on. Like it made it more tangible, and it was like, oh well, we need to do something, because if, you know, our people, our family are left neglected in another foreign land, you know what I'm saying, like this is what happens. They can become the Killmongers, especially if they don't have the traditions and the culture. Like culture is so important.
I totally agree, and that's why I want to bounce back to my point where I said like Killmonger like really just like pushed it in his face, because I feel like, you know, in the beginning of the movie, like Nakia, she had her values and like they were very much, you know, there, but T'Challa wasn't necessarily seeing it. He was more so on the line like, come back to Wakanda, let's live this perfect fairy tale life, you know, you can be my queen. And it wasn't until Killmonger came to say like, yo son, it's not good out there, bro, like things need to change. Like that's when it really hit him. That's what I feel.
Yeah, like I said, Killmonger definitely has some good points, and it's like his words to me were better than a lot of his actions. And I think a man or a woman should be measured by their actions, not what they say, but what they do.
True.
So yeah, love Killmonger as a villain, but that's what he was. Like, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Like, you gotta respect your elders. You gotta respect culture and tradition. Some cultures and traditions do need to be changed, but you know, you should first approach them with the utmost respect. You know, you just don't go in there and just hoorah, like because first you gotta understand it. You know what I mean, and why it was established, and then, you know, you make amendments, like how in the U.S. you make amendments to the Constitution, whatever. Like, I respect that, partially.
I feel you, but it's all about, you know, growth and evolution. Like, I prefer those two terms as opposed to change, because to me, change feels really abrupt. Like, whereas evolution is more so change over time, more so growth, and I kind of appreciate that more than just, you know, boom, things are different now.
Yeah. Let's get more detailed into the movie. What did you think about when they went on that first mission? You know what I'm saying? I think that was in Korea, right? Was that in Korea?
I think, was it Seoul? I'm not too sure, but yes, it was
somewhere in Korea. If I didn't, you know, get things twisted. That was so hot, like the casino scene when they first, you know, ran into Claw and he made it rain. The old girl from the Dora Milaje, I think her name was Okoye. She kicked butt in that scene.
Definitely, that was executed incredibly well. Like, I really appreciate it. I really appreciated like their costumes, like how the three of them represented like the Pan-Africanism.
Red, black, and
boom.
green.
Yeah, like I thought that was like, wow, like I love that movie.
Yeah. All right. So after they had that fight scene, T'Challa was able to catch up with Claw and was about to take him out, but then they was like, "Hey, the world is watching. Don't And that's how your boy from Get Out was so disappointed because he either wanted the body or he wanted him brought back alive to face trial in Wakanda, and he got away. Nice. Got away. The fish was let off the hook. You know what I mean?
I get you.
But T'Challa had every he had every intention of bringing him back. It's just that Killmonger stole the show.
I feel like personally, I feel like going back to Kaluuya, like I feel like Killmonger bringing his body there was like a huge, like that's probably what really earned his respect. Mm-hmm. Not saying like it was good, but I mean, he wanted results and he got results. So
yeah, but sometimes you have to think: does your personal mission or vendetta, supersede that, or override or overrule that of your nation's agenda? You know what I mean? Like it should be business, never personal, and it was way too personal. Yeah. And I could understand Killmonger's personal feelings. I could understand Kaluuya's personal feelings because they really had some tragedies happen to them.
True.
And so, and those wrongs had to be righted, but you don't forsake your nation and your country and your people.
Definitely. I think that was pushing it. His own wife, like,
to go on a personal kamikaze suicide mission. Like, this happens all the time, man. People have personal feelings, and then they go against the family, they go against the community, because of something happened. So someone down the line hurt their feelings, so they turn their back on their families and their communities and stuff.
It's tragic,
and that's the real tragedy. You know what I mean?
I personally feel like revenge is for the weak. So like, I try my best to like not, forgive and forget, or forgive and not forget, but learn.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about revenge being for the weak, because I think there's some strong people that have reenacted revenge. I just think that your principles and the end game has to be correct.
True.
Like if it's a personal vendetta and a mission and it doesn't advance your cause or your people's cause or your people's plight, then maybe you should let it go. But
I feel like it's for the weak is because you're letting an action or another person distract you from your goal in life, and your new goal is to just inflict harm or damage upon this person. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, it takes a really strong-minded person to let that entire situation go, not to, move off the path that they were destined to go down. Like,
Well, we're going to have to get into something deep real quick, because I think what Wakanda represented, like, let's bring it back to the warrior class of people. And that's very interesting to see, because after slavery, we became a very passive people, because, people invaded Africa with guns and the Bible. And so that's how they made slaves. You either, read the Bible and you become docile, and if that doesn't convince you, the guns will. So I don't think that we as a people stand up enough and fight for our causes enough. So, the whole belief that, how they say revenge is for the weak, I can't agree with that. Nietzsche, who is a philosopher, he had this concept called the slave morality. And, I think that some people are tricked into believing that the powerful people in this world are evil because they're in power. And, there's some truth to that. But at the same time, slaves who have slave mentalities, they're not necessarily more righteous because they're great slaves. Get your freedom. If you need to fight back or get revenge for your freedom, it doesn't make you wrong.
That's where I can agree, because I feel like that borders like that holds hands with like civil rights and like equality, whereas I'm gonna hate this person and make it my mission to destroy him because he took the last bag of chips. Like that, that's where it like straddles the line of like ridiculousness.
That's when you become Kaluuya.
Yeah.
So the fight, another thing that I really like, getting back into the main focus of the movie, like how Nakia, his mother and Shuri, like were very instrumental in bringing how the Black Panther back, bringing him back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost like the story of Osiris or Osar, whatever you want to call them. The women were very instrumental in putting them back together, like Humpty Dumpty had to fall, and the women put them back together again. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much the same story, and it was lovely how that played out. And then M'Baku, his role,
yes, he was like probably he's low key one of the goats in the movie because he like had the power in his hand. He could have like obtained the power of the Black Panther, but he humbly just like showed them T'Challa's body.
Right. And at first he didn't want to have his back, but in the end he did. And without the help of the Jabari tribe, you know what I'm saying, Killmonger might have had a victory. You know what I'm saying?
And
so witness the might of the Jabari first hand.
Man, let's get it.
Are you done?
Are you done? Yo, just.
Oh, the other line that I like was one more word out of you and I will feed you to my children. I'm just kidding. We're vegetarian.
That was hilarious. My God.
Yeah.
Yo, the barking.
Oh, man.
Let's just leave it at that.
You may not speak. You may not speak. Hilarious.
Man,
Great movie. If you haven't seen it, the next time I see it will be my 10th time. So for those of you who haven't seen it once yet, for real, go play in traffic.
I saw it twice. I saw it early. I'm ready for the Black Panther 2. It's about to drop like next week or so. Like I'm so ready.
Oh, you mean Infinity Wars?
Black Panther 2, like hello.
Yeah. I don't know if that movie is gonna deserve as much props. I gotta wait to see if I want to call it Black Panther 2. You know what I'm saying?
True. All right. That's fair.
What else did I want to say? Oh, about you going to see it early. I was a little bit mad about that, but a little bit glad because, like, I remember when the DVD came out and it was animated and they had the 6-part series. I was like, yeah, you gotta watch it. Yeah, you gotta watch it. And I don't think you ever did. You probably started it but never finished. And I was so upset. Like that was my mission to have you see it. But then you redeemed yourself by going to see this movie early. And I was mad happy about that because I'm like, I raised him right. He went to see the movie, yes. But then I'm like, yo, how you gonna go see it, before I do? Like, he ain't take me, even though I was on the West Coast. But like, I was like, man,
I really
a little bit on the, I should have been there. Like, how you see it before me?
But
hey. I was on some Killmonger. I was on some Kaluuya stuff. You know what I mean?
But yeah, it was an amazing movie. I want to just take a second to talk about like how we had a black director, just like orchestrate this entire film.
Ryan Coogler.
Man, that's wow.
Hey, he need to holler at me, man. I went to school for radio, TV, film. I'm a protege of Spike Lee, and if I connect with the right people, we taking over the industry. You know what I'm saying? There'll be a lot more Black Panthers made, a lot more. And I'm not saying specifically that, but like movies that are free of stereotypes and that perpetuate the culture in positive ways.
That's what I'm trying to do, man.
So get at me, Ryan Coogler, Spike. I got ideas for days. Y'all talk to me. I'm telling you, we taking over the industry, hands down, without question. You know what I'm saying? I got this one movie. Oh my God! I'm telling you, it's about a whole lost generation. Holla at me. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm telling you, I think that it will be just as respected as Get Out, as the Black Panther.
Oh yeah,
I got some ideas. So check for me. I did graduate from Morehouse.
Well, I mean, that's true. I mean, we're approaching 30 minutes. As we said, like, as much as we could, we don't want to make it too long. But, you know, this for episode 2, you know, I feel like we're at an appropriate.
We held it down. Once again.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. I want you guys to, you know, enjoy the rest of your day. You know, stay woke.
Stay woke. Peace.